What is up? Welcome back to Jadonna Live, a podcast that is all about showing up as you are. We focus on self-love, community, and sustainability with dabs of pop culture thrown in there. Love the mantra, come as you are. So feel free to just kind of show up and be, but also live like you're trying. I know that I'm not going to do everything perfectly, but the goal is always to still be inching my way forward to higher and greater places if possible. So, super excited to do this kind of impromptu episode that I wasn't planning on doing, but I had a little extra time this week to still get something out. So, apologies for the couple day delay, but that's kind of the nice thing about doing my own podcast. If I can put it out when I want. So good to see you guys. If you've been here before, thank you. Please, please, please go on to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and rate Jadonna Live 5 stars if you have not. Really appreciate it. And if you're new and have never, been here, what up, what up? Excited to chat with you today. So this will be a bit of a quickie. I will be kind of sharing what's been going on in my mind surrounding like the ice situation, both snow and the department. We'll be talking about some media I've been consuming because that's really fun. I think I mentioned my pregnancy on accident last episode. So now the cat's out of the bag. We'll talk about some of that a little too. And then lastly, some career exploration stuff I will be embarking on / have already started a little bit. So that's really what we're talking about today. A lot of introspection, but also a lot of just like vegging out. I welcome both. So yeah, let's go ahead and this will be a super impromptu affirmation segment. So let's just kind of ground our feet. I could use some deep breaths. And if I burp, we're going to blame the pregnancy indigestion. We're not going to judge me for that. All right. Okay. More details on that later. So go ahead and flatten your feet. Start kind of deepening your breath. Take 3 very deep breaths through our nose and out of our mouths. This would be number 2. And one more. All right. Maybe instead of doing affirmations, we just do those cleansing breaths. Especially before we talk about some ice stuff. I'll keep it brief. So let's go ahead and move on to the mini moment segment. Mini moment segment. So yeah, I'm going to keep this brief. I just want to make sure to state, as I think anyone with any sort of platform should state, how abhorrent the activities of these ICE agents have been and how dismissive the current administration has been in addressing them. I have absolutely no expectation or optimism for how the administration handles really anything. So that I've just been disappointed about for years, but not surprised in any way. I think what is maybe not surprising, but still just incredibly disheartening is the amount of people signing up for these roles to, be these street thugs to grab people and arrest them, harass them. I don't know if I can say that. So, them. And seem to have no remorse, seem to have no care, seem to just choose to want to continue this over and over. It is extremely hard, and I want to acknowledge this for other people who are like me, who like you get super fiery and passionate about wanting to do the right thing, wanting to support people, wanting to support your community, but you are simultaneously in a season of life where that can not happen really outside of your home. I'll speak for myself. I cannot be going to protests right now, with my toddler, an incoming baby, just even standing. Nor would I put myself in a risk at this point for anything to happen to me. Um, I'm not in the financial place to be donating to a ton of places, nor do I have the time to be volunteering. So I feel a little frustrated because I'm like, outside of well wishes, which, you know, and prayers, which I do believe in, and like sending good energy toward a cause, I really do believe in that. And affirmations, like even though that stuff is still real, it's still really hard and frustrating to not know what to do um, in scenarios like this where a protester got shot for trying to help someone and was completely lied on by the administration. It's sick. It's disgusting. And it's still just the beginning, I think. So this is really a part of Jadonna Live, and a part of this podcast is bringing up questions to kind of chew on that maybe don't have answers. I'm not here to, give a ton of advice. I like to process out loud, and that's a big part of why I started the show. And I think that's just something realistic that I'm chewing on is like, what do I do? um, and what can I say I'm proud of doing? And I don't want a cause like this to take my life. Like, I'm sorry. I don't want to be at a protest potentially, at risk of getting shot because felt like I needed to help someone. I have talked about roles in a revolution a handful of times on this podcast with friends a lot. Everyone shouldn't feel like they need to take the same role in a resistance. However, we should all have an idea or at least be contemplating what that role is. And I am uncertain of what that is for me in this time. I have my podcast, so if anything, just kind of like bringing stuff up and putting it on people's radar or something. But that feels a little cheap because we all know this is happening. I mean, unless you literally avoid the news at all costs, this is occurring. So just some encouragement for people who are maybe still trying to figure out like what to do. Remember, especially for my Black and minority populations, and particularly my Black women, remember the solution is not dependent on you. As a collective, it is. I do believe at a macro level, it is. But you taking the burden or responsibility, which is something you're likely to do naturally, don't do that for this. It feels insensitive to call your rest resistance in this particular scenario. And I don't even know if I believe in this moment that that's what's really needed. But Like I mentioned, some of us, just in the stages of life we're in, are only have the capacity for rest once we get every other thing we have to get done. So if that is true for you, as it's true in my life right now, that is enough. And that is okay. Fortunately, there will be many an issue throughout our lifetimes to need to stand up and fight for. And if you currently do not have the capacity, as I don't, so I said I'll speak for myself. And anyone thinking, everyone has the capacity to do something. Okay, yeah, you can come manage my finances and raise my kid and do my day job and all the other things I'm trying to squeeze in while prepping for a child. Yeah, it's just not always realistic. But what we won't do, and what I'm hoping as a collective, Jadonna Live crew, what we commit to is speaking boldly and not cowering in situations where we could pertaining to this sort of thing. So my podcast, I'm not going to come on here and just not talk about it because no, that's a scenario where we're going to come on. I'm going to come on. I'm going to speak to this. You're in a conversation with colleagues. It comes up. Someone says, "Oh, I don't want things to get political." Murdering people because they're standing up for good isn't political. If you are uncomfortable talking about that, that's on you. I will speak up about how disgusting, just when there's a lane, and this is just me, but when there's a lane, take it, speak up. If you do see something, say something, call someone. It's just like, who do you call if you see like shit going down? You can't call the police. Aren't they working with it's confusing. Right now we still have free speech. Use it. I think that's all I have to say about that. So sorry that maybe wasn't helpful. If you do have the finances, please, look up GoFundMe's for Alex Pretty. May he rest in peace. I think that's his name, for the nurse that was recently, as well as Renee something, as well as Alberto something. Again, all this stuff is online, so I'm like not even going to spoon feed it to you, and you've probably already heard and seen it 1,000 times. But if you've got the funds to donate to some of these families, please do. If you have the capacity to maybe show up to some community organizing in your own neighborhoods in case and in preparation for ICE to show up so you guys know what to do, how to respond, and how to educate and inform others, feel free. There are other things we can do, and if you've got other ideas or thoughts for how I can still remain engaged given my capacity and everything going on, I'm open. So send me an email, jadonnalive@gmail.com, and let's discourse it. Okay. For those of you who are consuming entertainment, to not be just completely depressed, one, I respect it. And two, I also encourage you to still make time for your own thoughts away from media, social media, your own phone, just to give your mind space. I'm always a huge proponent of knowing what's going on the insides, so you can live and respond accordingly. Hard to do, especially depending on the stage of life, but just wanted to encourage that too. Okay, but when you're not doing that and you're trying to just, keep your mind off stuff, I wanted to talk about a couple shows I've been into lately. I started His and Hers because sadly my sister's canceling our Netflix account, and I had heard about it and I was like, okay, let me just try to binge this doing my hair. And oh my gosh, this is a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it and you're hearing me, go ahead and fast forward through it now. But the okay, I paused so people could fast forward. The ending where it ends up being Tessa Thompson's mama. Oof. No, she was a, and I shouldn't be happy, but she a black and she killed all. I don't know. I should have maybe had a better name, but that grandma, that mama, uh, she she did that, and only respect, only respect. Obviously, how in the world it wasn't realistic in any way. She would have never gotten away with it. She would have been caught, but pretending that she had dementia, ooh, so good. I loved that. I love, especially seeing an older black woman be the serial guys. Serial, like, that's terrible. Okay, like, let's just. Sometimes I hate how flippant TV shows and like podcasts and certain things reference stuff like that, like it's not real. So I just want to first off say that's terrible. However, seeing her in that role, I don't know, is saying empowering feels just so bad. But that's the only word I can think of. So, that's so bad. But that's how it felt. I was like, we too can do that. We too. Um, so anyway, up until that point, I truly thought it was Tessa Thompson the entire time. And typically, I'm not like that dumb, like in watching shows. Like, I don't take the bait. And I know they were just like spoon feeding that down your throat. But I was like, well, because they're showing everything. It's like they're telling us just out of the gate that she did it. So then we can watch how it all unfolds. It's intentional. No, wrong. And then for it not to be the like bigger friend at the end who got the whole look change, for it to not have been her either. It was great. So anyway, if you've gotten to this point, I'm done talking about his and hers. I do recommend you watching it. If it's pretty graphic at some points, so if you are not in the mental space to be able to handle that right now, I totally get it. So maybe don't watch it. But ooh, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, next, Traitors. I am obsessed with Traitors. Heard from one of my friends that she and her partner were obsessed, and I was like, whatever. I have no idea what it is, but I hear people talking about it. I'll check it out. Love it. Am currently watching the current season 4, but I did watch season 2 that my husband and I just finished. It was great. I need to talk to my sister about whether I should go back and watch season 1 and 3 as well. But can I go ahead and do some spoilers for that too? Sorry, or maybe I shouldn't. I'll just say, if you haven't seen it and you're curious and you really enjoyed like Mafia growing up, if you ever went to camp, and played Mafia or just played any sort of like social deduction game where you have to lie and kind of be sneaky in order to come to a goal, I highly recommend you watch it. It's super just fun. It's super like camp. It's theatrical. Alan Cumming is the host, and my sister's like, oh my God, is that the Spy Kids guy? My husband is like, he does other stuff, like takes it so seriously. So that's really funny. Check that out. Okay. Let me move along here. Was there another show I wanted to spotlight? I think there's just those two primarily. And yeah, okay. So I haven't talked to you guys much about pregnancy, not because, I don't know, it just feels really personal and whatever. But yeah, send, good vibes my way at this point in 37 weeks. So kid will be coming on their birthday, as my Hypnobabies instructor from my first kid would always say. But yeah, excited for it, doing it pretty unconventionally, which I love. And all the parts of the process have felt, yes, challenging, but also very true to who I am. So I'll have more updates kind of on how, like, my methodology for birthing and my like resources and all of that post birth. I kind of just want to like stay in the mental zone, not invite too many opinions or thoughts prior to going into it. Yes, it's the second time, but as you learn more and as you kind of step into that birthing person role, there's so much sacredness to keeping your peace and keeping your mind the way it needs to be for you to successfully birth. I take it very seriously, and specifically the mind part of it, and keeping your mind calm, keeping your body calm. And yeah, so like I said, I will have an episode about all of that that I'll probably do on maternity leave. And my goal was to still have my bi-weekly podcast cadence, which is why I wanted to go ahead and keep and make sure I still put an episode out today so I can keep that. So I've got a couple episodes banked that I just need to like edit and schedule. I've got 2 interviews in the next couple weeks, and those will be coming out when I'm out as well. So the show must go on, and it will. So really appreciate your patience with that. And then what else did I want to... Oh, okay. So finally, I have talked to you guys about just my background in philanthropy and social impact and how my goal is to be back in that industry. I've been out of it for, oh my gosh, probably 2.5 years at this point, which doesn't seem long at all, but like at this stage of my career feels like an eternity. And I am so excited to be kind of inching back into that sphere. I don't currently have the funds to like get a career coach and do all that stuff. And so I decided I'm just going to, use the interwebs, pull some resources, pull some astrology, pull some, just a lot of different advice from friends and fam, a lot of different things to map my own guide for how I am going to know the job I want, based on this time of my life and what I'm really looking for. And I think it's been hard for me to really find something that aligns because I haven't done that strategic inner work. And so I'm making a guide. I'm going to have my husband use it after me because he's in a similar stage. And he can let me know if it makes sense. And then if that's something like you could utilize too, I love that sort of thing. Just like a guide for brainstorming so you can figure out what your best next step is. Yeah, maybe I'll do something with it and we'll share it more broadly. But outside of that, find ways to keep yourself busy, but not to be avoidant, to lean in. Figure out ways that you can do what you need to do what you want to do. It's hard out here. I am sending you such good energy and good vibes. And yeah, this is a time to lean on the people in your community. I just texted my sister, I want to come over later. And she is not to be fun with the babies and, her partner has something to go to, whatever. So just like getting with your community, getting with people. My best friend threw me a nesting party a couple weeks ago, which is a party for like typically birthing people who have already had their first. So like you've already had a baby shower, you already have a lot of the things you need, but people come over to like do tasks for your home. which my dad thought was so tacky and so ridiculous and was like, why are you inviting your friends over to clean for you and to do chores? And I was like, if you had friends, you'd understand. Roasted. He doesn't watch this, so he won't know. But it's true. And so I have curtains that were hung up, like in multiple rooms. I had my whole room rearranged. I had my baby's closet completely set up. I had meals made and frozen. I had medicine drawers organized and stroller tires pumped up, painter's tape removed from my wall. My bathroom deep cleaned. That was my mother, God bless her. Popcorn purchase. It was just like so beautiful and telling of what a community can do for you. Um, that's not just like buy you stuff. So if you have more questions about a nesting party, I'll put a link in my bio about it. But I actually have to go get my kid from daycare. So I'm gonna go. And thanks so much for listening. Again, reach out at jadonnalive@gmail.com if you've got any thoughts or comments that you want to share. And outside of that, take it easy, breathe deeply, and keep doing what you do. I will catch you next week. Same place, same vibe. Bye.